Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me today in this webinar in understanding herbology, or the power of herbs, and how and when to use herbs. Now, this is a very, very important subject, and I do enjoy speaking about it, being an herbalist. But more, I feel it's important to help the people to have a proper understanding of herbology, how it can help their health, because unfortunately there's been misconceptions when it comes to taking herbs. And of course, what's very important in any type of herbal treatment is not just the herb, but many factors. One, of course, maybe the most important, is the diagnosis. And if you don't have a proper diagnosis, or you don't have diagnostic skills, then of course the herbs that you take may not be suitable for the conditions. So that's another subject, a very important point. And then also we're going to talk about how to take the herbs, what type of actions that different herbs have, and when to take. So the how, when, and what of herbology. So in Ayurveda, we classify herbs in different ways based on their taste, their action, their post-digestive effect after digestion, and the gunas and their qualities, as well as its special characteristics called the prabhava. So let's start with the gunas. It's very interesting that herbs are classified the same as foods. There's in Ayurveda, and I guess in reality, there's no real difference between herbs and food, except for foods tend to be more sweet in nature and nourishing and building, and have a nice taste to them. But all the other plants all have medicinal value. The any herbal system says that all plants, minerals, barks, leaves, roots, stems, resins in the planet all have medicinal value. It's only understanding what that value is, and of course how to take, when to take, and how much to take, and these details, which are very important. The details are very important in herbology. And they look at herbs, like I said, not by the taste, and food by the taste. So, for example, the sweet taste in herbs, a building. It's a building herbs, just like it is with food. It builds tissue, calms the nerves. In foods, of course, that would be grains, sugars, dairy, fruit. They're all building, nurturative. And same with herbs. If you taste an herb like Shatavari, ashwagandha, bala, vidarikandra, some of these herbs are licorice. They're very sweet in taste. So these are building, nutritive herbs. Just by tasting the herb, we can understand part of its actions. If it's sour is a cleansing the tissue, improving absorption, particularly of minerals. And for foods, just sour fruit, yogurt, fermented food, helping with digestion. But in herbs, we have many lemon, lime, helping with digestion. We take amlaki, and there's many sour tasting herbs. A lot of weight loss herbs are sour, like Garcinia Cambodia. You have this sour fruit, which is very popular for weight loss. You notice that it has a very sour taste. It improves absorption, cleanses the tissue. And a salty taste, not herbs generally don't have salt, but herbal formulas have salt a lot of times, particularly ones for gas, bloating, constipation, have added salt. And, this increases the lubrication of the muscles, stimulates digestion, and you can see a lot of herbal formulas have salt in them for this effect. And then the bitter taste. The bitter taste is it detoxifies and lightens the tissue. So you see a lot of weight loss herbs like daruhaldi, and even turmeric. It's got a bitter taste. And all the liver herbs like kukti, dandelion, burdock, milk thistle, umamalaki, all have a bitter taste. Cleansing, particularly of the liver, cleansing and detoxifying. So when you're taking these herbs and you taste this bitter taste, then you can tell just from the taste of this herbal formula that you're having that it's got a cleansing effect just by the taste of the formula. And then there's pungent. Pungent stimulates digestion, stimulates metabolism, In foods, it would be garlic, chili peppers, but there's many hot, heating herbs in all herbal systems, but we can say garlic, ginger, black pepper, pipali. These are all heating herbs. Chikrat we use as post-digestive is very heating. And then there's astringent herbs, and they absorb water, tighten tissue. Red raspberry, for example, is used as a uterine tonic, and it's astringent. It tightens up the uterus and help it. And a lot of weight loss herbs are using astringent herbs as well, tightening up the muscles and helping to kind of dry out the tissue and for swelling. Punarava and Erva ursi, these are just kind of got this astringent, bitter taste that's helping take water out of the body. So, and fruit, that would be beans, some fruit, raw vegetables tend to be astringent. That's why they have this cleansing and weight loss effect. So that's one way to understand herbs is by the taste. And actually, in history, they learned about these herbs through observation of animals. And if we look at all herbal systems in the world, we can see that all cultures had different systems. Our Native American Indians in North America had various herbal systems using herbs. South Americans and South American herbs, many of which we use a lot now, like called the Arco. And Chinese, of course, had a very sophisticated herbal system, and many of these herbs, astragalus and goji berries and ginseng, are becoming more and more popular as the benefit and rediscovered outside of Chinese culture. And then Indians, of course, had maybe the oldest and most sophisticated and most documented herbal system, which we call Ayurveda. And this is the science of life, science of taking care of your body and preventing disease, and using herbs in many forms are their main course of treatment. So herbal medicine has been around for tens of thousands of years, and all cultures used it. The difference between Ayurveda and other cultures, particularly Western herbalism, is just the depth of the documentation and about each of the herbs. And they learned about these herbs by tasting them and trying them, and also observing the animals. We can see a herb called horny goatweed. Use it for male libido tonics and teeth, and we can assume that they learned about this herb through observation. So, and you can even observe animals yourself in the wild. I do this, and we can see animals digging up roots and digging up the roots of dandelion and eating them in the spring. So over time, humans have been observing animals, trying different plants, sharing this knowledge, and accumulating this knowledge for thousands and thousands of years. So I would say, without hesitation, probably the greatest accomplishment of humankind. I wouldn't say mankind, because women traditionally were the herbalists, collecting food, collecting spices, collecting leaves, grains, providing this type of health care for their family. But I would say that it's probably the greatest knowledge that has been achieved by humankind is herbology, because it took thousands and thousands of years to write it. And we have systems like Ayurveda that are thousands of years old, Chinese systems that are thousands of years old, and still used by a large majority of the population. In India, for example, as much as 30 to 40% of the population is still only using herbal medicine, and probably as high as 70 or 80% is combining Western medicine with herbal medicine. And in China, we find even a higher percentage of the population is not taking any form of Western medicine at all and relying completely on herbal treatment. So there's herb for every condition. I say that with confidence, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I'm capable of treating every condition, or do I have the knowledge of every herb for every condition. But there are herbs for every condition. It's a matter of finding the right herbalist with the right experience with that particular condition and having the access to these herbs. And even for an herbalist, you may have to try different formulas at different times. And generally, they're not taking as single herbs, but generally take it in formulas, and many of these formulas are called traditional formulas in Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, and these are preformed and been made to achieve certain jobs. Other ways we observe herbs are their what's called gunas, are their effects on the body, like whether the herb is cooling, like cilantro, coriander, fennel, whether the herb is heating, which expands and flushes and inflames, and chili, garlic, wine, ginger, black pepper, heating herbs to dry, all are creating this expansion, flushing, cleaning, just like cold creates contraction, drying, soothing. And then oily herbs are taking in oil, and this is lubricating and soothing and nourishing to the body. Some herbs are drying by nature, drying the body, taking out edema and swelling. Some herbs are heavy, hard to digest, and some herbs, but strengthening and giving you strength. Like we could say ashwagandha is quite heavy, but it's for building muscle, strengthening the body. But it's a heavy herb, hard to digest. And then there's light herbs that they're light in nature, light, easy to digest. And then there's sharp, penetrating herbs that can, like shilajit, that can penetrate and break up the tumors, break up cysts, get the urinary tract clear, break up kidney stones, and there's clearing herbs as well. So they used these tastes and the qualities of the herb to understand its basic functions. And so, like I said in the beginning, we use the taste, which we mentioned, the sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent, and pungent taste as one identification. And then the guna, light, heavy, oily, dry, gooey, sharp, liquid, clear, hot, cold. These are the qualities when you can taste it. And then the post-digestive effect, we call the like the vipak, and this is if the taste that it has after kind of digested. So there's original taste, rasa, first taste the herb on your tongue, and then there's the vipak, taste effect after then digested in the body, and then the vira, whether it's heating or cooling. So it's very important to understand the herbs from these point of views, because you could say, okay, this person has inflammation and pain, but they're also hot and they're sweaty, and they feel a lot of heat and maybe burning on their joints. You can't give them heating herbs. You can't say, oh, ginger is good for inflammation for that person, because it's too heating. So you have to use cooling herbs on that type of person, like boswellia or frankincense. But if a person's cold and they have heat, they have pain and joint problems, then you can use heating herbs to help. We're talking about antidote herbs. So the same condition with different people requires different herbs, because the herbs have different qualities, because the people have different qualities. And this is a confusing point for people, because I think many of us, being in the Western world, we have kind of a Western allopathic view of taking herbs, or our thinking, and that is we think, okay, what do I take for my pain? What do I take for my headache? Because this is what we call allopathic approach, where we're thinking in these lines. But in fact, in Ayurveda or any herbal system, it's far more sophisticated than that, and that's why we can't answer this question so easily, because in herbology, you're treating the causes. You're not, if we say, what do we take for pain? We're talking about just taking some painkiller or an analgesic herb that reduces pain, but that's like turning the alarm bell off on a fire. I mean, we don't know if it really put out the fire. So what we want to do is we want to address the causes of this pain, the causes of the headache. And since the causes of weight loss, people call me and they say, oh, what herb do I take for weight loss? You saw my friend, you gave her this herbs. Can't you just give me the same herbs? But each person could have a different cause for their weight loss. One person, it could be anxiety and nervousness. They meet, so we want to calm calm their nervous system down, sedatives and nervines. Another person could have a toxicity in their body and be holding toxins in their tissues. So we want to be able to detox the lymphatic system, detox the colon. Well, another person could have fatty liver or poor liver, or even a history of hepatitis or liver's not working well. And that's their reason for weight gain. So we want to give herbs to help to detoxify the liver and improve the liver function. And of course, one of the common causes for weight gain is just poor digestion alone. So we use carminative herbs, herbs that will help strengthen the digestion. So that's why you cannot say, what do I take for this condition when you talk to an herbalist, unless he's only thinking in Western terms. You think from an allopathic point of view, and we can see this with a lot of herbalists, where you say, what do I have high blood pressure, what do I take? They say, just take this. But that's not correct, because we're not diagnosing first, which is always the most important step. Determining, and the first step of diagnosing is understanding the causes. And then once the causes are identified, then we can treat the different causes. So we're going to talk now about, let's say, the different forms how to take these. I think people have don't have a full knowledge of the different varieties of taking herbs. We think we know we can take them in teas, but also we can take them by scent as well. This is an herb stick, and this is reducing irritability and anger. Well, I don't feel too irritable right now, but let's test out. Oh, I definitely feel more chill right away. See? So we can do this with young children. We can do it in the room. And essential oils have the similar effect, because we're taking the herb and we're infusing it in the sense of an infusion in the sense of oil, or in this case, we're burning it. We're taking it into the respiratory system, which has direct access to the brain, which has direct access to our moods and our feeling and our mental state. So this type of burning herb is very effective, but for a very short period of time. Once I put it down and I stop inhaling it for 15 or 20 minutes, then I'll return back to my other state. So it's quick but light. And we can say the same for essential oil. I have a little essential oil mix here, which has got peppermint and citrus in it, and it's called Pep Talk. So it kind of peps you up. I like it when I travel. You can just, I have a little mustache, so basically this is a great place to put essential oils. I found perfect right there, right under the nose. See, I don't need them. There we go. Pepped me up from the essential oils. So, even just peppermint can be used in that manner. And then we have the other forms. We can also use oils in the nose. This is a brain oil here. It's brain oil. It's mostly brahmi oil, gota cola, and other herbs for the brain. And to get to the brain easily, we go through the nasal passages. So this herb, we just put it right in there. And it doesn't hit as quickly as inhaling it. Like, I don't feel it yet. But it will have a kind of a nice, slow release over the next hour, keep me real chilled and sharp here during this webinar. So that's one way to take herbs. And we use this type of brain oils for a lot of cognitive imbalances, attention deficit, and memory issues, particularly when there's dryness. And we also use it for respiratory problems. This one's a calming one, but we use them for respiratory too. We put them in through the nasal passages. And we also can take herbs in like alcohol substances, because they are very easy to digest. And alcohol is a very small quantity. There's a product here called Nerve Tonic, and it's about 40 herbs in a light alcohol base. So I think it's just a couple percent of alcohol in here. And by being in alcohol, it hits very quickly. It's easy to digest. The digestive system doesn't need to digest it. It absorbs right into the tissue immediately. It's right into the bloodstream, and you don't have to digest it. So that has a lot of advantages. And then also we can take herbs in jellies and jams. So here we have Chyawanprash, the most famous Ayurvedic jam. Prash means jam. Chyawan, well, that's the old man who made it up. Who apparently married a young wife and needed a little bit more boost. So he made this formula and had a bunch of kids, and apparently became very famous. Still taking it today, 100 years later. So there's about 30 or 40 herbs in jam, which is basically made of ghee and honey. And this is used, this Chyawanprash is used for your immune system, weakness, building up immunity, strength, good for children, good for the whole house during the winter to avoid infection. And my family would take this, 1 teaspoon each, every morning during the winter time. It's kind of warming, so we don't take it in the summertime. We take it during the winter. It warms the body and supports the immune system, and we can avoid infection all summer long. And it's safe for children. Also, we have herbs in oil. Of course, there's powders and oils. This is a sleeping oil. For children, it's very effective. You can put it on the feet of the child, and you go to sleep. And you can massage your feet or even put it on your forehead. It helps us. There's nervines and sedatives in here to help you to sleep better. So very good for young children, even a baby. You could put just a little bit on the baby's feet, and they will go right. You know, an adult probably something stronger than that, but it's very effective for children. It's supportive for good health. And then for anti-inflammatory oils too. A lot of people have inflammation and pain. It's kind of sad that they suffer because there's a lot of analgesic herbs that can help reduce pain. Anti-inflammatory herbs that can reduce inflammation. And many of these herbs are oils right on the body and provide immediate relief for a few hours. So those are different forms. And of course we have teas. Oh, here's another form in ghee. They're called gritas. This is liver ghee. So, you know, when a person's dry and depleted and underweight, then we don't want to give them strong liver herbs. Put the herbs in the, because what the herb is in, we call it anapana, and this will help us take the herb to the right place. And we know the herb, we know the liver, for example, is digesting fat, breaking down fatty acids by reading bile through the gallbladder, breaking down the fat, emulsifying fat, we could say. So when you take an herb in ghee or fat, then we can be sure that it's going to be affect and reach the liver. So that's one way that they're very effective, because it's going to reach the liver more effectively than, say, taking it in a tea. We have, of course, liver tea as well. Liver tea and liver gallbladder tea. We use dandelion, milk thistle, burdock root in here, and this will help clean out the gallbladder, flush out the gallbladder, and improve liver function. And it's in a tea form. This is taken in decoction, but sometimes that tea form is not suitable, and the ghee is a better choice. While we're on liver herbs, just to show you the variety that we have here, or is in herbalism, is we have one liver formula here called a liver tonic, and it's just for kapha. Well, kapha, basically this is for liver function, and particularly fatty liver. When it's kapha, it means fatty liver, congested, cholesterol. This is what this would be used for. So for a lot of weight loss, heavy people, fatty liver, high cholesterol, and we would reduce that fat in the liver using this formula. But if you had another person and they had a lot of like skin rashes, inflammation, hot flashes, body heat, psoriasis, skin problems, and even anger, irritability, then we would, that's a heating our pitta in the liver, or dhatu. We would use a different formula called liver tonic for pitta. Of course, means and hot. And the herbs are completely different. This improves liver function, but particularly cooling and detoxifying. And then if the person is weak and frail and underweight and particularly dry, many of these bitter liver herbs actually can increase vata and increase dryness and be depleting. So we have a formula called liver herbs for vata, and they're more for this type of underweight, dry person, a little warming and not as bitter. So it's not a strong formula, but at the same time, you know, doing the job in helping to restore the liver, particularly in cirrhosis of the liver. Those vata herbs would be the most suitable for that sensitive person. So you can see that even when we talk about just the liver, there's many different forms in which we could take it. And then again, we're going to keep going here with some more herbs, but we also have to talk about when to take the herb. When to take the herb is very important. And this is why you need an herbalist to give you these herbs, because you have to pick the right herbs for you, for your situation. You just can't be taking, as I've shown you, just liver herbs. It would be just because you've had liver dysfunction or you want to detox your liver. Good to know, match the herbs to your particular condition, or particular constitution or body type. And then, of course, you have to take these herbs in the right manner. The when, so to speak. When to take it. You can take it first thing in the morning. Herbs can be taken before meals, with food, after meals, 1 hour after meals, an hour before bed, right before bed. There's many different times. So timing is very important. And since we're on liver herbs, all of these liver herbs, if we see the instructions on here, it says take half a teaspoon about 30 minutes before the meal. So that's because you want it to, again, go to the liver. So the vehicle that the herb is in, whether it's in water, oil, fat, honey, ghee, or a tea, is very important. For example, if you want to reach the kidney bladder system, then we want to take the herbs in liquid form. We want to take them between meals, and we want to drink the tea very quickly so it flushes down to our kidney, urinary bladder pathway and cleans it out and reaches that area of the body. So the vehicle is very, very important. If you get the vehicle wrong, then the herb may not go to the right place in the body. So you can't just think of taking herbs just in essential oils or just in teas or these forms. You have to choose the right form, and then you have to take it at the right time. Like diarrhea herb, digestive herb for weak digestion, liver herbs, all are taken before the meals. And most herbs are taken after the meals because it's easier to digest and absorb and go with the food. But like I said, if you're trying to reach the urinary tract, you want to take the herb with the food. You want to take it between the food with a lot of liquid to flush it down there. And a lot of these colon herbs, we have a lot of colon herbs. And here it's just called long-term colon care. And they should be taken right before bed because you're going to have action in the morning. You don't want to take this in the middle of the day and have action at the wrong time. So it takes about 6-8 hours for that particular formula to work. You take it right before bed, and then when you wake up in the morning, you have your healthy bowel movement. And then, of course, there's the quantity. How much do you take? And that's determined by the weight, size of the person, the condition involved. So a small child will maybe a quarter teaspoon, a big man, 2 teaspoons of the same herb. So herbalist has to put it in the right quantity for that individual. And sometimes these herbs are taken once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. So this is also very important. Like all herbs, they're tools. They're like your friends. You can't think of them as like some harmful medication. They can only be harmful if they're not taken properly or in the right quantity. For example, this long-term colon care, say you're having 1 bowel movement a day, which is, not bad, but not what we want. Good, healthy elimination. We would like to see these bowels moving 2 or 3 times a day, equal to the amount of meals that you have. So if you took 1 teaspoon and you only went 1 time, then you would take the next night, you would take 2 teaspoons. Try to increase the quantity. If you took 2 teaspoons and you had diarrhea, you want to reduce it down to 1 teaspoon. And maybe when you first start taking these herbs, particularly colon herb, cleansing herb, many different ones, some that are strong, some that are weak, and even those for diarrhea. We have one here for IBS and diarrhea. And it's the same, only the opposite. In a sense, if you have diarrhea and you take too much, you still may have. And I mean, if you take too much, you're going to become constipated. And if you don't take enough, you'll still have loose stools. And for the colon herb, if you don't have enough bowel movements, you just take more. And maybe the first time you take it, you have to take 2-3 teaspoons. But after things get moving, then maybe you only have to take 1 teaspoon. So it's very important not to be too rigid with taking these herbs. You have to listen to the body, feel the body, see the effects of the herb, get to know the herb. And we're not really talking about herbs here. We're talking about herbal formulas. There's nothing that I've shown you so far is a single herb. You know, these formulas that I have here are 7 to 8 herbs. And some of these that I showed earlier about that whole list there, right there, that's all the herbs in this nerve tonic. And the Chyawanprash, again, you can see a long list of herbs that are listed off here, 30 to 40 herbs. So rarely are single herbs used. You could say a single herb is kind of like a sniper approach. If you really know exactly what you want to achieve, you can use a single herb. But since these products are sold to a lot of people and covering a wide range of a certain condition for different people, they generally are formulas. So they're balanced, not too hot, not too cooling, not too dry, not too moist, not too strong, you know. So they're not affecting the doshas too much. So that means they become tri-dosha. That means all types can take them safely. Like turmeric, for example, or haldi is tri-dosha. It means the Kapha people can take this, even though it's related to ginger, slightly heating. And if a pitta person takes too much, then this increases their pitta. So even turmeric, all know is very safe and kind of oversold today, can be taken. It's not suitable for everybody. It's not suitable in large amounts for the pitta, or the warm body type of person. So even the best herb is not suitable for everybody. And if the quantity is incorrect, then you could have some adverse effects because you didn't get the quantity of the herb. So we have how to take, when to take, and quantity. And of course, all herbs have different actions. And we study the herbs by these actions. They can be anti-parasitical, means they're killing parasites. You're going to give these to my horse, give these to the dog, give these to the cat, and I've avoided other types of pharmaceutical grade parasitical or worm medicine, they call it, on my mini pets, because I've been using herbs and they work very well. We have diuretic, cooling herbs, and mostly we could call bitter tonic. We have aphrodisiacs, which are improving the libido and stamina, both for male and female, and they're different. Carminative herbs, these are helping with digestion. You know, ginger, garlic, coriander, cumin. We have a few here we can talk about. Demulcents, which are soothing and comforting. Diaphoretics, which are opening. Diuretics, which are depleting the body of water and flushing it out. Emmenagogues, which are for the liver and the gallbladder. Expectorants, and decongestants, clearing out the respiratory system. Laxatives and purgatives, which are cleansing the bowels and the colon and the GI tract. Nervines, which are supporting and feeding the nervous system and calming it down. Nurturative tonics, which are building and strengthening. And purgatives, which are like flushing out the colon. Rejuvenative tonics, which are again building, and stimulants, which and digestives, which are stimulating the metabolism, for example. So and this is just only a few of the actions which herbs can have. So let's take a look here at what we got. Let's look at some carminative herbs. Here we have different carminative herbs for digestion. Like here, this is a pitta tea, just full of carminative herbs, gently strengthens digestion, and it's using fennel, coriander, cumin, cinnamon, and cardamom. So this is for a person It's easy to get acid reflux, heartburn. They can't do ginger, spicy food, but their digestion is weak or poor. So we give them these mild carminative herbs like fennel, coriander, a little bit of cumin, a little cinnamon, and cardamom, which is a sweet spice. And that working very effectively. And it's even cooling down the body temperature, toning down the appetite, because that type of person can have excessive appetite. And then we have other set of carminative herbs here. We put this called vata digestive. And this is more warming. The last formula was cooling. And here we're using lemon balm, which is a nervine, which helps the person to relax. Cumin, which is one of the best carminative herbs for gas and bloating. Licorice, ginger, fennel, cinnamon, ajwain. And a lot of licorice, heating and warming. That's why the just ginger tea can help. Ginger, cumin, coriander tea can help with this type of person who gets a lot of gas and bloating. And then a more strong carminative formula here. This is for heaviness, avoiding heaviness after meal and lack of appetite. When you're not hungry all day till 3 o'clock, this is a problem with your digestive system due to congestion and mucosa in your stomach lining. And here we have stronger herbs like ginger, a lot of ginger. Ginger's first. Cumin, cinnamon, fenugreek, cloves, black pepper. So this is very hot, very heating, somewhat stimulating to get the digestion going. So even when we talk of carminative herbs, we can see there's a wide range. Just like I spoke earlier, we have liver tea in this form. And then we have liver ghee, which is be good for children, more gentle in this form. And people who are dry. And let's see what else we have here. I mean, there's really, here we have nervines and sedatives. These are very popular. Let's look at some nervines here. Nervines are herbs for the nervous system. And we can see lemon balm, skullcap, catnip, motherwort, lavender, oat straw, passionflower, rose petal, cinnamon, and stevia. So, lemon balm is from the mint family, and it's a slight mild nervine. But when we talk about skullcap and catnip, they're almost sedatives too. A little bit, you have them too much, you can become a little sleepy. Marshmallow motherwort we use also for high blood pressure because it helps to calm the heart muscles. And lavender, it's a mild nervine because it a nice taste. And rose petals, well, that's just to make it taste good. A little cinnamon, a little stevia there to help with the taste. This is very relaxing, calming tea. And we have them also in herbs in powder form. So powder form is probably the most strongest and most effective way to take the herbs because you're digesting the powder and not just taking an infusion. So many things you can't do with a tea because you need the actual herb itself. So basically, laxative work better in powder form. You want a stronger action. Weight loss herbs work better in a powder form. Because when you talk about taking an infusion, for example, there's hot infusions and cold infusions, but let's talk about hot infusions where you pour in hot water in the tea, let it steep a little bit, strain it, and drink it. You've only taken the extracts or the water-soluble aspects of these plants and put it into the water, and you're drinking it. So you're not really taking the whole plant. So you're going to go through a lot more herb to be able to get the effect. And not all the oil-soluble aspects and other aspects of the herb will be experienced because you've only taken an extract. If you do decoction, you boil it for a while, you'll be more powerful and you'll be able to extract more. But if you just ingest the whole herb, it's going to be far more effective. So if you just can't relax, a little nervous type of person, and have a little mild anxiety, mild nervousness, this is going to be fine for you. Drink it all day. In fact, I tell a lot of my patients, don't bother drinking water. Water is not doing anything for you. You could drink herbal tea. I have herbal tea called a vitamin tea, which is full of vitamins and minerals. And this is far better than drinking just water, for example. Here it's right here. And so there you go, vitamin tea. And So we have, of course, nutritious herbs in here, like alfalfa. My horse lives off of alfalfa. Nettle, one of the most nutritious Western herbs, growing all over the garden. I pull it out, stings my hands, stinging nettle. Horsetail, which we know is high in minerals and calcium in particular. Hibiscus, we know is high in vitamin C. Lemon peel, again, antioxidants, vitamin C. Cinnamon for taste, coriander for taste, stevia for taste. So it's a very nice tea for someone to drink all day long. And I used to sell these teas in the markets here in Ojai, and people would just come by and sometimes say, "Oh, well, what tea could I just drink all day long? I don't have any health problems." And I would give them vitamin mineral, and they would come back next week and say, "Well, I drink tea all day, and my energy's better, my mood is better, and thank you so much." It had a big effect. So it shows you that these teas are not just therapeutic, but they have even nutritional benefit to them. So much more helpful than taking water all day long. Water is more cleansing. Of course, we've processed a lot of the water. We've had to filter it out and process it. So a lot of the minerals have been removed through our own processing. But back to taking a formula straight. So if you really have anxiety and having anxiety attacks or panic attacks, then I wouldn't give you the tea. I'd give you the formula where you take the powder and you mix it with some water and you actually ingest the herb. And there you're going to find it much more powerful, much more effective. So we see that with all the weight loss formulas, all in powder. The colon formulas, all in powder. Most serious health conditions, we're doing all in powders. And this is the most common in Ayurvedic, is to take these herbs in a powder form. Now, people ask me, well, why aren't you taking them in capsules? Well, I'm kind of a traditional guy, but I'm following traditional Ayurveda. Traditional Ayurveda didn't use capsules because the body needs to taste these herbs. And when you put this bitter herbs in your mouth, when you're taking these liver tonics that I showed you earlier, these are liver herbs, they're all bitter. And when you taste this bitter, this stimulates the enzymes in your to excrete from your pancreas. It stimulates your liver, it stimulates your digestion just by that bitter taste, then sends the signals to the brain that this bitter substance is coming, and it activates the digestion. So if you took the same herb in a capsule, it would bypass your taste buds and it would go straight into your stomach and be broken down by the stomach acids. But this can be confusing for the body, and thus the results are not as good as if you were to take the herb and to take that bitter taste. And, herbs for serious treatments are going to not taste good. For more mild conditions like these relaxing tea, they taste fine. These calmative teas and digestive teas, they generally taste very nice. But when you're talking an herb that's going to clean out your colon, it's not going to taste very pleasant. When you talk about herb for your liver, it's going to have a bitter taste. When you talk about herbs for weight loss, they're going to be bitter and astringent taste because that's action that needs to be taken. And when you taste the herb, it helps the herb work better. Hate this sometimes horrible taste. In fact, I meet people walking down the road sometimes, and I haven't seen them for years, and they remind me for my patient. And I said, "Oh, how did it go with herbs?" I give everybody a lot of herbs, and they say, "Oh, they tasted terrible, worked great." So I've heard that many times. They tasted terrible, but they worked great. So those are the strong herbs that do that. And like I said earlier, it can be helpful for any condition as long as the herbalist has the knowledge and availability of the herbs. So we can treat anything with herbs, but it doesn't necessarily mean I, as an herbalist, have experience with that condition, or do I have the herbs. But I would encourage everybody to find a good herbalist because it can help with any condition. For example, here we have these menstruation tonics for women who's having delayed menstruation or irregular menstruation or absent menstruation. And I've had many young clients who've menstruation wasn't coming as scheduled, maybe due to taking birth control pills for an extended period of time, and then the menstruation stopped appearing. And 1 jar, maybe 2 jars was all they needed. And then, of course, other women have excessive bleeding, which can lead to anemia and depletion. And this herbal formula here is for excessive bleeding. And we have a lot for pain, too. And analgesic herbs work very good for pain. So I said it's very sad that people don't turn to these herbs over other formulas or other ways of managing their pain. Because even in Ayurveda, we have many analgesic herbs for different types of pain. This one here is for kind of more like stiff muscle pain. This one is for inflammatory muscle pain. It's pitta pain. So burning, hot pain in the joints, hot and inflamed. It cools the body, takes that inflammation down. And this one is for pain where there's cracking joints, binding joints together. Vata one, so it's nurturing the joints and cleaning the toxins out of these joints, which is the cause of the pain. Again, these herbs are addressing the cause to balance the systems in the body. And you may have to take an herb formula like this, 1 jar, 2 jars, 3 jars before your rheumatoid arthritis or your joint pain is gone. It's a very important point to understand that these herbs are helping you to remove these causes. If the diagnosis is correct and the herbal treatment is correct, and the quantity is correct, the vehicle it's taken is correct, all of these factors, which I talked about, need to be correct, and the diet has to support it. I mean, I can't give you a sleeping herb when you're drinking coffee all day. I can't give you an anti-inflammatory herb when you're having inflammatory foods like tomato sauce or sugar. I can't give you a weight loss herb when you're eating cheesecake and donuts. So, the diet has to be supportive. And what the herbs do is take their action on certain tissues and certain systems of the body, and they remove these causes. So generally, even the simple herbal formulas, say for constipation, most people have to take them a lot at first, and then less and less and less, and until the constipation is gone, and then maybe they just take it sometimes as they need to. Maybe they went out and ate the wrong foods, or ate too much, or ate at night, or had poor food combining, or ate foods that are not compatible with their body type or constitution or prakriti, and then they had the constipation. So they can take them as needed. So the herbal formula becomes their friend. It's helping them to stay balanced. Because in Ayurveda, we're not, cure. We're thinking balance. If your respiratory system is all clogged and congested, then we want to balance it out by clearing it out. If your respiratory system is all dry, then we want to balance it out by putting lubrication in there and opening up and dilating the respiratory system so that breathing becomes easier. So it's the same with weight. If you're underweight, we want to balance it out by putting building herbs to build muscle, to build fat. If you're overweight, herbs to deplete muscle, to deplete tissue, to burn fat, to reduce down the side, reducing herbs. So that's why you can see herbs that reduce, say, fibroids, cysts, and tumors are often very similar to weight loss herbs, because the herb is reducing everything, shrinking down the body, shrinking down the tumor, the cyst, because that's the action that they have. It's this kind of cleansing and astringent, tightening and effect on the tissue. So it'd be perfect for somebody with weight loss or with some type of tumor or fibroid or cyst, those type of herbs. And eventually the weight comes down, eventually this diminishes, and you don't have to keep taking the herbs. Even for the pain herbs, even for people with serious inflammatory conditions, inflammatory nerves, inflammatory joints, inflammatory muscles, like in fibromyalgia, people are taking, as you can see from my hundreds and hundreds of testimonials on my website, taking these herbs for 1 month, 3 months, 4 months, jars, and then eventually the body has recovered, because the herbs are taking an action to bring down the inflammatory response. We could say alkalizing the body, like we say frankincense or boswellia is alkalizing and neutralizing this acidicness in the body that's creating this type of inflammation and pain. So once the herb has done its job and you're following the right diet, then you don't have to keep taking the herbs. So herbs are generally not made for taking for a lifetime, but at the same time, these herbs are very safe and can be taken for a lifetime. Like I said, we have many herbs that are called long-term digestive aid, long-term colon care, and these herbs are made to be taken for a long time. I meet Indians from India who've been having like brahmi tea their entire life. Have still at their age have very sharp memory because they've been taking brahmi tea every day for their whole life. And also people in India, they're taking triphala every day for their whole lives to keep their colon clean, and this has helped their health tremendously. So for a health condition, we only need to take these herbs and follow a strict diet until the body is balanced and equilibrium, our homeostasis has been achieved, or we would call it Ayurveda, the balancing of the dosha has been achieved. And then the imbalance is no longer there. So those potent herbs are no longer necessary for that treatment. But then there's other herbs you can long-term avoid treatment, the condition to come back. For example, high blood pressure. Generally, we're using only powdered herbs to bring down the blood pressure quickly. But after the blood pressure has been down to an acceptable level and the doctor has taken the person off the medication, then we can give them a tea for long-term use. So teas are better for mild condition, maintenance, and preventive. And these powdered herbs are used for more serious conditions. And when they're in ghees, they tend to be more kind of like low releasing and more gentle. And of course, there's topical oils you can put on your body, as I mentioned here. So there's just literally thousands and thousands of herbs and thousands of different formulas and many ways to take them. So you do have to work with an experienced herbalist. I don't recommend that you look for herbs just online and pick them, just as I wouldn't recommend you look online for a diet. Just because somebody says it's good for them, the diet will be healthy for you. And just because somebody else got great results from moringa doesn't mean you should start eating pieces of moringa every day. Eating, and it can create acidity and heartburn, so it may not be suitable for you. So you really have to have somebody prescribe these herbs and herbal, and they should mostly be coming in herbal formula that have already been made. In fact, almost all of the products that I've shown you today and that I have are all old products. A Western herbalist will see some of these teas that I had, and it's probably similar formula. We're all getting them from different naturopaths in the past who formulated them, who took them from European herbalists hundreds of years ago. And these Indian herbs and these powders, these are all very old, hundreds, if not thousands of years old, some of these formulas, and they're still being used today because they work very well and they're very safe for long-term use. But again, you have to have the knowledge. That's why we just don't have enough herbalists in our society. Of course, in China, there's herbalists on every street corner. We have a 7-Eleven on every street corner and a liquor store. But what we really need on every street corner is an herbalist. And in India, too, you can go out in the middle of the night and pretty much find an herbalist who will come out in the middle of the night and give you herbs for whatever condition you have. So if we live in that type of society, then we have the availability to herbs here. We just have that. But of course, I'm dealing with people all around the country with Skype. We have this technology, so I got people on Skype. I do my diagnosis through forms that the people fill out in advance. And then I'm able to prepare and provide the herbs that are suitable for them and do follow-ups to make sure they're working right. We get the dose right. I always tell if the herbs are working very well and you're very happy, it's still important to do a follow-up so I can adjust the herbs and determine how much longer you may need to take them and whether I need to increase or decrease the quantity after the initial period of taking them. So please look for a good Chinese herbalist, Indian herbalist, or Western herbalist with experience, good 20 years of experience. Better if they have a big gray beard, or and a woman, gray hair, so showing they're seasoned and have the experience, and really do avoid just reading online and reading about different herbs and just taking them without having a deeper understanding of how to use them. Okay, so I hope that helped you understand how to take herbs, when to take herbs, and what herbs are used for. And if you need more assistance with your health condition and would like to use this traditional form of healthcare, I don't call it alternative, because I think taking little pills and medication is alternative in itself, because it's been around for about 60 years. Well, traditional medicine has always been herbal. So if you're interested in traditional, safe treatments for your health conditions, feel free to contact me, and I can discuss with you on the phone how I can help you. So I hope this helped you open your awareness and broaden your understanding of the potential of herbology and the potential of using herbs for yourself, for your family, and to address specific health conditions that you may have. Thank you once again, gentlemen. I hope that benefited you. I'm also learning like the rest of us, and if I made any mistake in my speech, please notify me, and I'll update this video with any corrections that are brought to my attention. Once again, I wish you the best of health and happiness. Greetings from beautiful Southern California. I sincerely hope you learned from this video and benefited from all the information. This knowledge is not my knowledge, nor is this information new, but part of the ancient healthcare system called Ayurveda, the science of life. I hope my videos explaining the Ayurvedic approach in a simple and clear manner help you to overcome your health issues. However, if you have a complex or serious health condition, I highly recommend that you contact me personally so I can meet with you here in my clinic in Ojai, California, or in an online conference call, so I can properly diagnose your condition and provide you with an individualized diet and custom herbal formulas. Then I will follow up and continue to support you until you have recovered. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel below and visit my website for more information, appointment fees, upcoming events, and my schedule, where you can book an appointment directly online. Thank you once again, and I wish you the best of health and happiness.